What you talking about?
I'm right now.
So take the badge off. Take the badge off. Take the badge off. Take the badge off. Yo, take. I swear, on God, I will beat the shit out of you, my man.
I'm going to go over a few things that have been going on in the news, and I hope you guys benefit from this. So I'm going to share a few things. The first thing offhand is a video that I saw posted on Twitter. It speaks volumes on the current climate in regard to the general public. I don't want to say general public because I know there are a lot of people out there that respect and appreciate the cops. But it speaks volumes on the consensus of some, especially those on the radical left, more extreme branches of the left, when it comes down to police work and the utter lack of respect that is on display. But also, which is becoming a mainstream concept, a mainstream mindset. And I don't think that's a stretch to say that because it's everywhere. Maybe not to the extremes we see. I'm not talking about the average person running down and wanting to gun down the police. But people clearly do not trust the police, probably now more than any other time in recent history. When it comes to actual police brutality, things are at their best that they've ever been in the history of our country right now. But you will not typically get that information on your mainstream or from your mainstream media outlets. So let's just watch this video. It's some pretty rough language here. So I just want to give a forewarning. So if you have any kids around or if you're sensitive to that type of thing, just be aware.
You pull out the gun. What are you talking about?
I didn't pull out my gun.
You was about to.
No, I wasn't.
Did you feel threatened? Because he was behind you?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. That's crazy. No, he don't know.
Now, I don't know what took place prior to this point. If he reached and went to take out his gun. I don't know what the dialogue was between the officer and the citizens. But I don't think it couldn't be too serious because it doesn't seem like it's escalating to that point. And you have multiple officers around and clearly multiple citizens. So.
Bro, what? No, this is about what? It's about what? Like what? The fuck is you talking about? Live here like what?
See the
Like
address?
what? You need help.
Come back later, pussy. Stick that. Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, what's my mouth? I will beat the shit out of you.
Suck my dick,
Get the
nigga.
fuck out of here, nigga. Stop burping. Suck my dick.
Goodbye,
Shut up.
Jackie. Bye, Jackie Chan. Suck my dick. Goodbye.
Shut up. Get out of here.
Goodbye.
Fuck
Suck my
outta
dick.
here.
Goodbye.
Get out of here.
Suck my dick.
Shut up.
Goodbye.
Take your badge off.
Fuck is you talking about? Goodbye.
Cocksuckers.
Fucking pig.
This is utterly insane. And knowing the system and the politics that make up New York and New York City, there's nothing these guys can do about it. Now, granted, I know words are just being spoken and these are just insults. But when you have someone threatening, talking about they're going to beat him down and he's going to kick his A and all these threats, and then the officers just walk off, that's a problem. We go back last year when officers are getting water thrown on them and basically just walking away doing nothing. When you have a system in play where, culturally speaking, within the police department, within the city of New York, but within a lot of governmental systems nowadays, within the nation, when concepts and ideas about the police being untrustworthy and being excessively violent. Now, let's be honest. I've spoken on it on many occasions. There are occasions where things like that do take place. No one rational denies that. But the way it's being portrayed in the public and in the mainstream media is insane. And it creates a hostile culture for those officers who seek to do right, who seek to do their jobs justly. And what do you get from that? When every time you turn on these, I honestly, like nowadays, I barely watch too many mainstream television shows like sitcoms or dramas, because they all have an ideology that leans extremely left, and you see oftentimes godless, and you see things like this being portrayed on a continual basis. And if you don't believe me, just give me some time. And actually, if you don't believe me, I'd love for you to comment down below, because there's evidence for it. And I can demonstrate that. There's a consistent theme to demonize the police. In all actuality, demonize justice as a whole. The rule of law. That has become popular in our culture today. And you get this kind of nonsense because you're getting it from every avenue. TV shows, sitcoms, your favorite athletes, especially the ones who haven't taken the time to really study. They just swallow and regurgitate what they hear and what they are fed from these mainstream news sources, who are all political hacks. I don't want to say all, but there are too many that are. This is what you get. This is the kind of foolishness that you get. There are many police agencies who are reporting that they aren't able to meet their hiring standards. Why is that? Why do you think that is? When you demonize the police, make them look like they're evil, when you call the Border Patrol and ICE, when you call them Hitler and make comparisons to them as like Nazis, and when you're basically saying all cops are racist, it's only a matter of time before people lash out on a more consistent basis violently. I mean, which has happened already. There have been many times where that has been the case. Recently, the William Barr, the Attorney General, stated in a presentation that he did, he stated that there has been an increase. I believe he said in the area of 20%, somewhere. There's been an increase, definitely. I don't know what the percentage was of felonious assaults on law enforcement, and I think these are the reasons why we see that increase. And this is just some of the fruit from that ideology. So to all my law enforcement brothers and sisters out there, please be careful. I don't think you should have to sit up there and have to take the kind of nonsense that a lot of you guys having to deal with. Now, granted, words are words, and there are a lot of occasions where there's really nothing you can do. But when people get to the point where they start making threats, now that's a totally different ballgame. If you're in a jurisdiction, you work for an agency that condones that type of insane behavior, now I think it's time for you to find somewhere else to work, honestly. You might need to consider that option. Anyway, just a few things to consider, and I hope you find that helpful.